Well, thank you for joining me. I hope that we can look at a question that is solving a simple algebraic equation. Now, sadly, we tend to neglect the basics. So let me write the basics, if I can. And I'm going to call this basic of solving analytical, which is just like linear equations, not quadratic equations. Sometimes we're asked to solve equations where there's an x in it. And so we have to solve this equation. Now, often we have a 0 in this position, but for the benefit of these exercises, I'm going to be using not a 0. So I'm going to be using a 13. So we're going to let this equal 13. So the first thing we need to do is to take this -1 across the other side. We'll leave the 3 with the x, we'll leave the 3 till last, because 3 times x, that's so close to the x, please don't separate the 3 with the x until last, because if you try and take that 3 across the other side, you're taking it away prematurely. You should have to wait till that -1 is gone. So let's have a look at taking this -1 across, and that's going to become 13 plus 1. So if it's a -1 on the left-hand side, it becomes a +1 on the right-hand side. And what we're left with here is 3x. 3x is still there. So now we've got 3x equals 14. So we're almost there. We've taken the -1 across to be a +1. Now we have to take the... Can I change the colour? Yes. Now we have to take this 3, which is being multiplied, across the other side, and it's going to become a divide 3. So let's just go back to having x is still there, 14 is still there, but that times 3 comes across to be divide 3. And we're finished. Well, 3 goes into 14 4 times, remainder 2. So we could wrap it up by saying x is equal to 4 2/3. All right, let's try one more. But this time, let's take 3x minus 1, and now we've got a 0. All right, yes, it is 0 here. It doesn't have to be a 0. Often we get a 0 in quadratics, so we have 2 factors, but this is just one entity here, 3x minus 1. Now, we still have to treat that very similar. We're going to take that -1 across the other side, and it's going to +1. So let's leave the 3x. The -1 is on the other side now, and it's a +1. Now, 0 plus 1 is 1, so now we've got 3x equals 1. And finally, yes, we take that times 3 across. That's a multiply by 3. It goes across the other side to be a divide 3. So let me see if I can squeeze this in. I'll just write it over here. The x is left alone. It's now the subject of the equation when x equals. And a divide 3 becomes divide 3. So it was times 3 on the left-hand side, but it's divide 3 on the right-hand side. And we're finished. This is the solution for part 2. Therefore, x equals a third. If x is a third up in the original equation, let's just check this. If x is a third in this position, 3 times a third is 1, and 1 minus 1 equals 0. Just like the original equation we had, the first one, 4 2/3. 3 times, if x was 4 2/3, 3 times 4 2/3 happens to equal 14. 14 minus 1 equals 13. It has to substitute back in to be true. So I hope this helps, and until we see you again, until I talk to you again, stay happy.